in the contact records for those that have teams, such as Jose's team. One of the things that they brought up was filters, and those filters being user specific. So if you create a filter, say I come in here and I've got several filters set up, you may not have any, but whenever you come in here, there are lots of fields that you can filter on, and you can choose specific filters. So I'm going to come here and say presidential. So I've got a list of names in my database that are the dead presidents of that I can just use for demo purposes and stuff, and I've got them tagged as presidential.
They're all fictitious.
They're all fictitious. But one of the things that we talked about last week was, well, if I set up a filter, one of my other teammates doesn't have that filter if they need to switch. Well, now you do. Whenever you go to save a filter, there will be an option. Actually, I'm going to choose a different one. This one's already shared. Let me go to A and B. So here's a filter for my A and B clients that have a category of A or B, and that they are a type client. I'm going to come over here and say save filter as. Whenever you have this save filter as, you can give it a name, and then there is a share and save option now. The share and save option, whenever you click on it, it will take this filter and save it to a shared area where other users can use it. And at that point, you'll see it'll have the little share icon in the list there. So whenever you click on the down arrow, you can see which ones are shared. And then any of your other users of the system, whenever you go into the list here, you can see then which ones have the share list. So you
nice.
now share them between other users.
Wow.
Okay.
And Rebecca is gonna love it.
Yeah. So and it was Erica that requested this, and it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Let me make that available. Now, you become the owner of that shared filter whenever you do that, and only you can change it, only you can remove it. So some of these, if you move your mouse over the top of them, you can see, okay, this was shared by Mark Stepp. This one was shared by Mark Stepp. I think I've got one here for Cody. Yeah. So I went into Cody's account, did his and had him share one, but now you can see who owns that and say, hey, can you make this change or whatever? You can certainly do that. You can come into and edit those filters, and you can pick that filter, say the presidential here, and if you don't own it, you can make a copy of it and save it as a different filter if you want. So maybe you don't want to rely on them to edit it, but you want to use it as a base. You can certainly do that. Then you can also share your copy that may be altered in some way, but it has to have a different name so that they don't get confused. So hopefully that will solve some of the challenges you guys were seeing with sharing filters between users. For those people that don't have the filter on, I do want to make sure this little box right here, for people that have very large databases, we added this on here for those people that do have large databases. You want to come in. What will happen is whenever you come into the system, it will go load in by default, the default filter. So maybe you've got 20,000 names, 30,000 names, whatever it is, but you really only need to see about 400 of them at any given time. You can set up a default view. It loads much quicker whenever you do that. You don't have to wait for it to load 20-something thousand. And will you really be using 20,000 names at any given time? Not likely. So it just gives you a much quicker, better experience in looking at those names. to turn that on or off, to turn this filter on, it does default off, but you can go into your setup section, into your menu options, and there's a show contact filters. And if you turn that on, it turns it on. We may eventually turn it on for everybody and just not worry about whether you've got a large database or not, but it really kind of made sense more for big databases. But if you just want to create separate filters, certainly that is a great way of doing it. Turn it on. You can use it even in a small database.